I'm Dan from Intellijel, and I'll show you our new products for NAMM 2018. So the first one is a new version of our planar module, which is a joystick that controls mixing of 4 inputs, or you can take 1 input and steer it to 4 outputs, so like quad panning or morphing, that kind of thing. But because this joystick is hooked up to a microprocessor, we can do a bunch of interesting things with CV generation and recording. So I'm going to turn up the sound here a little bit, and you're going to hear this joystick manipulating the filter and some effects. Okay. While that loop was playing, I was able to manipulate some parameters and in real time, and then have them played back exactly how I changed them. And you can do punch in recording, so while it's going, you can just record over a small part of it. You can also record these tap presses, and it's generating voltages on these outputs too, so you get these like quadrature voltages or envelopes generated at the same time. So it's a really powerful way with a kind of intuitive control to make a lot of dynamic changes to something and then be able to loop them and play them back. So one of the sounds that we were manipulating was our new filter over here. And I'll talk a little bit about it first quickly. It's a new version of our Corgasmatron called the Morgasmatron. It's a dual filter, and we've put a lot of controls on it so that you can do some creative routing, get a variety of sounds. There's different ways to distort it with input overdrive, a really aggressive rat style distortion, and a special distortion for the resonance circuit. So I'll just play a little bit right now. That's just a small taste of some of the tones, and it's being driven by our Rubicon 2 oscillator, which is a special feature of through zero FM modulation. So normally with linear FM, if you are modulating it with something like another oscillator, you can make it go up and you can make it go down to a point where it stops oscillating, but you can't go beyond that. And with through ZFM, you basically go up and down. Which is it's better to show than to describe. So I'm just going to stop the sequence, and I'll leave it with a static sound so you can get a better idea. So right now is normal linear FM. And then when I flick the switch, you're going to get through zero, and you'll hear that it's going backwards. This oscillator also has a huge number of waveforms that you can generate on it, including this warp waveform. And basically you have this thing called a tri-state pulse, which pushes chunks of the waveform up and down, and you can change the width of those chunks. So I'll just play with it a little bit so you can hear what it sounds like. if I patch other sounds into this circuit instead of the sub, you can animate them too. So I'm going to patch a sine wave into the warp circuit. And we have a special, we call it a squish circuit. It's a kind of fixed folding so that these chunks that we push above a certain threshold, they get folded back in. So it's an interesting way to kind of add some more character to the sound. So that's just a quick taste of some of the flavors you can get from these modules. So right now this is just a prototype, and we're hoping to have that shipping by the end of the spring. The Morgazotron is available immediately right now, so you can get that from Vintage King. And Rubicon 2 will be ready in about 2 months. We're just waiting on a part, but the design is done, and those will be ready soon.